Let me translate this for you. It's called baat pakki ho gayi hai. Okay, it's the baat pakki. There's no such thing as baat pakki. Just so you guys know what he's talking about.
I have no idea what he just said. But I'll answer the question that I think is trying to be asked. Should the engagement period be prolonged? From my experience, no. Prolonged engagements tend to fall apart very, very, very quickly because it builds a sense of frustration. Even like those really long, when they talk about the halal dating thing where you do the kitab, which is the actual marriage. Look, in Islam there's only one legal hurdle, and that is nikah. After that, the walima is sunnah. All the other stuff that takes place in between, that's culture. There's only one legal hurdle, and that's nikah. So like we'll do the kitab and then we'll get married 2-3 years later. It might work for a few people, but I'm telling you, I mean, the vast majority of people, it doesn't work. It builds a sense of frustration because like I'm married, but I'm not really married. Like I'm religiously married, but I'm socially engaged. When are we going to actually get married? Interestingly enough, there was an article that relationships that have a greater portion of text messaging are actually the most unhealthy relationships. That's an article I just saw last week in the Huffington Post. An actual study on relationships that have a lot of text messaging are actually unhealthy relationships. And that's why even that prolonged pre-kitab phase, getting to know each other for the sake of marriage, we're not really doing anything, tends to build frustration and the relationships fall apart. So I don't believe in a prolonged engagement phase. I think that it's a healthy. I also don't like and this is the Desi culture, I know, the kitab the day before the wedding. I don't think that that's a good idea either. I think having a few months, a month, 2 months, where they can get comfortable, getting to know each other, I think that's more healthy, because what I see is that most people that do that kitab at the end anyway, the day before the wedding, there's already inappropriate interactions. So you might as well make it halal to where they can talk about some serious issues. They're going to be busy for those 2-3 months planning the wedding anyway. So I think that's a healthier kitab phase to the time of the wedding, or to the time where the woman would move in with the man. And I'm telling you, I know that the parents are here. A lot of our parents who got married back home, and mashallah, it worked. But if you tell your kids, like, I married your mom without ever seeing her before, you scare your children, all right? You're not doing them a favor with that. It's just not going to fly over here. And it's actually not the sunnah per se, because the Prophet ﷺ said you should look at the person that you're going to get married, obviously with what appears, and that's where the restriction is lifted, so that you can see that you're satisfied with that person. Don't use your parents' refusal for the wrong reasons as an excuse to commit zina, or as an excuse to go too far in your talking and your conversations. So you know what, they're standing in the way, they're not being reasonable, and then if you guys mess up, you say, well, it's our parents' fault, they stood in the way. Didn't you hear the hadith that if you reject someone with deen and character, تَكُنْ فِتْنَةٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَفَسَادٌ كَثِيرٌ, there will be fitna on this earth, corruption, trials and tribulations. So we're just the result of that. Allah's still going to punish you, and He'll punish them too. He'll punish them for getting in the way of what could have been a good marriage, rejecting someone with good religion and character because of racism or because of cultural backwardness. They're going to have to be held accountable for that. And you will be accountable for not having a halal relationship.